Hi all, I'm Ron with Pacific Permaculture. Today I want to talk about permaculture economics in the formal economy. There's also stuff in the designer's manual about informal economy. Talk. So I just dropped my keyboard, but anyhow, let's talk about permaculture economics in the formal economy. We can also talk sometime about the informal economy. You know, there's different systems you can deal with different ways, but I want to just go through the designer's manual a little bit and talk about some of these things, at least go through what it says. So the formal economy. Formal means that goods or services are conducted under a legal umbrella. Hi, Cecilia. Formal means that goods and services are conducted under a legal umbrella and are regulated by accounting procedures. Exchange can still take place, but it is accounted for in terms of stocks or services. So legal procedures must be followed by self-employed people or family businesses where cash is received for goods or services rendered or offered publicly. Now, I'm paraphrasing bits of this because I'm not going to read every single word for word. It's a lot of words. So I'm kind of skipping a little bit, some of the details, but a community may have at least these formal structures. 1, cooperatives. 2, small businesses service office. 3, investment funds for special projects. 4, leasing company or system. So they're talking about, I think, where people are kind of living on the land, having an eco village. And looks like you left again, Cecilia, but you've been canning again. Cool. What I'm doing up so late is making this video here instead of making a video and uploading it. So anyway, I'm not working tomorrow. They didn't call me. So if we go into cooperatives, cooperatives, a group of people acting together for the benefit of members. So here are the aspects of cooperatives. Open membership, which is basically saying anyone who can make use of the services and accept the responsibilities of membership. That's one of the facets of a cooperative. Say a worker cooperative, say we all start a company doing security. Say 5 of us, for example. Okay, so 5 of us are the workers and 5 are also the owners. So it puts us in a different frame than if, say, I start a security company and hire 4 people. We're all owners. We share in the revenue. We also share in the costs. But so then the second thing is democratic organization. So the members participate in the decisions. Okay. And then 3, strictly limited interest on share capital. Fair but limited for capital or restricted influence of people holding. In other words, if you're not a member, you have very limited amount of capital you get. Okay, the people that are the members, member owners, basically, of a business cooperative, then you get a share. It's possible to also still have people that are just employees, but the best is if you have all worker owners, honestly. Everybody gets an equitable amount. Okay, 4, surplus or savings out of the operation of the cooperative belong to members. And then the members can decide on the use of the surplus. Either, you can plow it back into the business to build it up bigger, or, maybe you have some benefit that each of you can share in. Maybe you haven't had health coverage. Maybe you've been able to get a wage out of it, all 5 members in my example, but you haven't got health coverage. But maybe now you're making enough money that you can get health coverage or some aspect, maybe dental and vision and hearing and this kind of thing, or just a general stipend maybe towards health coverage for each member. Say $500 a month each person, member owner, now gets towards health coverage. That's a possibility. Things like that. So anyway, so you share in the profits. That's the thing about cooperatives. Not like some business where you do the work and some guy siphons off all the money and he's living good and you're all suffering. You're all raised at the same level. So also education. Cooperatives should provide education for members, officers, employees, and the public on principles and techniques of cooperation. And, I can add to that, to the above, actually. Surplus. I mean, when it comes to surplus, say, for example, you can give a scholarship to member owners' relatives, potentially. Say each one's qualified for a scholarship per member owner per, 10 years or something of tenure there, or something like that. Anyway, because you should have some restriction. You don't want one guy gets 8 and the other guy gets none. You want to try to balance it. Anyway, so jumping back, education, they should educate the members and the public on principles and techniques of a co-op. And 6 is cooperation between cooperatives, which encourages the development of more cooperatives. So you kind of become a cooperative hub. Hi, Howie. Thanks for coming by. I'm talking about the benefits of cooperatives, permaculture, economics, and the formal economy. How are you feeling, by the way? I saw that blood thing. That was kind of scary with them little parasites and stuff up in there. Maybe you need to give them a drink and they'll want to wash out of there. Maybe some good tequila will get them out of there. So they're going to talk about a worker cooperative that's in Spain. Here it's called Mondragon, or I call it Mondragon because I'm not Spanish, and it's in the Basque region of Spain, and that's worthy of note. In less than 30 years, 96 worker cooperatives employing 17,000 worker members have emerged. So that's phenomenal. Each person is required to invest about $5,000 when joining. This can be deducted from wages over a 2-year period. Of this investment, 20% is a contribution to collectively owned funds, and 80% is for the purchase of an individual shareholding or capital account, which is normally not drawn upon by the worker except on retirement, death, or in cases of extreme hardship. In this way, a co-op can partially fund itself with generous help from the cooperative bank. So, well, I should say so. Howie, yeah, you're tougher than a parasite. You can build the pathway soil bank. Can a parasite? I doubt it. Would a parasite? No, parasites are going to suck the nutrition out of the pathway soil bank and return nothing. Anyway, that's my little blurb there. So, there goes my thing. Okay, so let me get back to the Mondragon cooperatives have several features. 10% of the profits must be returned to the community for public services. 20% of the profits are held as capital reserves, and 70% are distributed to workers. Although not all of This is available for withdrawal until a worker leaves a cooperative, at which point all their financial interests in the business must be withdrawn. The worker is in effect loaning the cooperative the money and so receives interest. Number two, a cooperatively run bank oversees the functioning of all new cooperatives in the group, finances new cooperatives up to 90%, and offers expert management skills. 3. No redundancies in the cooperatives. Workers are retained in new jobs found in other expanding cooperative groups. So I guess what they're saying there is you don't have cooperatives that are competing against one another. It kind of interferes with the whole psyche of the thing, right? Psychology, what's going on. The ratio of the lowest to highest paid person is never greater than 1 to 5. Okay, so I'm never going to get less than 20% of what you make. Maybe you're the CEO figurehead or the guy totally in charge. Somebody kind of has to be totally in charge sometimes. And say I make 20,000. The most you're going to make is 100,000 until my pay goes up. So, and vice versa. So there's more equity there than, say, for example, I'm making 20,000 and some CEO of a big company is making maybe 20 million. There's not much equity or equality in that. So I like that. There's a ratio of how great the top people can make versus the lowest. An annual meeting of all workers in a particular enterprise elects both directors, which are the managers, to run the business, and a social council, or like a kind of a union, to negotiate with directors on work conditions, pay, education, etc. The meeting observes the principle of one worker, one vote, which who doesn't? That's the way it's supposed to be, as far as I was always raised. Each cooperative averages around 200 to 300 worker owners. Large numbers become too impersonal. Large cooperatives are divided into smaller independent units. The community has cooperative schools, hospitals, a university, housing, health, and welfare services, a technical research library, supermarkets, banks, and computer centers. All of these are cooperatives, and schools earn part of their costs by contract to manufacturing cooperatives. So they have it all integrated really well. And that's the thing. They integrate everything really well, so their funds are building each other up and building up the schools so that educate the next generation of the worker owners, and then they work and build this thing up and build, it keeps building on itself. It's a virtuous cycle. Okay. We've heard a lot about the vicious cycle, but hardly ever of the virtuous cycle. So we have to create more virtuous cycles with our economies. And it's just how we do things. We can still make money. There can still be exchange and all this. It's just how you do it. So that you can do it so more people have equity. Okay? Better equity in the situation. Instead of one person scooping up everything and everybody else is there fighting over crumbs, One person getting the pie and the other people fighting over the crumbs left at the bottom of the pie plate, So anyway, this is a more even distribution of the proceeds of your earnings. Now, we're going to contrast here. Unlike the Mondragon cooperatives, which are usually appliance manufacturing factories, a small community cooperative might have three categories of membership. It could have one, worker owners. They manage a cooperative and are split into management and worker groups. They contribute a set amount of capital into the capital fund. which a percentage can be withdrawn should the worker depart. Only the worker owners have a vote. Managers are elected and are responsible to the rest of the group. They can also be sacked. So in other words, they're getting out of line, they're getting heavy-handed, you can vote them out. Basically fire them. And I think Howie, is he still here or did he leave? Anyway, yeah. Don't mind me. I'm just going over this and I'm learning things as I read, so I might as well read and learn and make a video too. So number 2 is corporate members. These are the primary producer, manufacturing, and public service associations. Corporate members. These are the primary producer, manufacturing, or public service association. They are the users of the store cooperative and that their products are sold there. And or they receive bulk supplies through the store for their business. They also pay a joining fee to capital funds. They may cooperate together for group insurance purposes. So that's where I was getting at. For example, like if the earlier with a cooperative, it has extra surplus, you can go into like, let's work as a group and get a break on our insurance and put so much towards it, it can go even farther. That type of thing. So voting powers can be allotted on the basis of involvement. Households. Number 3 is households. Basically, consumers. Each household pays a nominal joining fee. Goods are bought at a discount, and an annual dividend is received for the bulk purchases over the year. Okay, so this is how there's a buyer's cooperative called REI, Recreational Equipment Inc., that I belong to. And that's that's the household thing where it's just a buying cooperative. You get a little dividend back at the end of the year, 10% or something of what you spent. And you have to buy your way in. I did probably 20 years ago or something. And then you get a dividend every time. You just tell them your cooperative member number and then you get a break. So basically, the people that aren't members pay for your dividend in addition to the members that buy stuff. It's kind of good that people go in and buy and aren't members, because that way there's more dividend. So cooperatives also involve sharing, achieved by spreading the skills needed for any one job over more than one person, kind of rotating jobs. By having near equality in shareholding, and by being able, therefore, to assess how others are coping with the job. Cooperatives have a greater demand on the energy and time of their workers. There are often planning and assessment sessions after hours. However, productivity in such cooperatives is very high, and incomes or profits correspondingly high. So there's a benefit to all the extra work and some meaningless meetings. You could tell I'm not a big meeting person. I've been in jobs where they tried to kill us with meetings. They tried to wear us down to nothing. It was like a big grinding wheel. So even in cooperatives, the functions of management and worker representation are necessary. But unlike privately owned businesses, the whole workforce are shareholders and all vote for people to fill these positions. Thus, the workforce has total control over the composition of representatives, rather like a bioregion. So, that's cooperatives. Also, they get into some other things in the formal economy like community savings and loans. A worthwhile goal of any community would be to keep the money saved and earned in the community cycling within itself. So, credit union category. Anyone who belongs to an identifiable group of 30 or more people can start a credit union. Everywhere has their own regulation, but according to Bill Mollison, that's what he's saying. The purpose or charter of this credit union can be to fund local or neighborhood self-reliance. A community credit union can pay all routine accounts of a household. Some credit unions even have a larger check account service. Credit unions or friendly societies can set aside 10% of income to satisfy instant requests for money from depositors. Larger sums can be withdrawn at short notice, often within a week. The credit union can carefully assess loan applications. Money borrowed in order to save money is soon repaid, and so is safe to lend. Thus, money advanced for gardens, energy generation, etc., is soon returned. The savings in time exceeds the cash borrowed. From then on, the borrower has some spare capital. Usually, money borrowed to save energy is amortized over periods of from 2 to 7 years. So you just go and you say, hey, I need 30 grand, for example. I want to put some solar panels. And then as you have less cost, you start paying that back, right? So you have like a 7-year loan. And you just pony up higher costs until you get paid off, then your cost reduces. Something like that. Or some other way. Maybe you're buying a more efficient car. Doesn't burn as much gas, hybrid, or who knows. Right? So okay, good night, Hallie. Thanks for stopping by. I'll have people up on the panel next time again. I just thought it'd be nice to just kind of go over some things and make one more video. Another thing is the revolving loan fund. It's another category. The basic principle of a revolving loan fund is that people put in anywhere from $500 to $5,000 capital at a nominal interest rate into an established financial institution, and this is then loaned out to new businesses within the community. The group in charge of administering the loan checks references, offers advice, acts on the recommendation of people who will service a loan. This can be called the loans trust, credit union, finance cooperative, or an enterprise fund pool. It can include barter or labor exchange, a regular fair or market, and it needs an open register of local skills and resources well displayed. Such a modest fund can operate out of a house or old shop front, or from a counter in an established food co-op or cooperative business. On average, informed and concerned people will initially contribute a few $100s just to see a good thing go. This is enough. Others will have good ideas about small essential services and businesses, and the research group can be very busy researching and publicizing leaks of money from the area so that under or unemployed people can start up services and supplies to stop these leaks. So anyway, gets into that. What else do we have? Yeah, it gets into things I'm not really sure about. Here we go. It gets into CELT, which is Community Enterprise Loans Trust. I'm not familiar with, so we're going to skip past that and skip on to local currency. Somebody else is here. I don't know if Howie is still here or somebody else. If there's a lurker, come up, say something. No, it didn't hurt nobody. Avail yourself. The local currency. As a community gains skills in financial management, there's no reason why an internal and district economy should not be bolstered by a non-inflating currency printed by the community. For example, a publishing company sends out pre-publication order slips to people before a particular book is published. People buy or pre-purchase the book at a slightly reduced price, which enables the publisher to print the book. In another example, a restaurant in Washington State is transferred from single ownership to a work cooperative needed to raise funds to buy out the owner. They printed meal vouchers redeemable up to 1 year and sold them to future customers and friends. Most people came in to eat their promised meal, but some vouchers were traded to other people for some other service in the community, and thus the currency starts circulating as vouchers relating to a real commodity. There are many currencies in every society, such as promises, exchanges, stamps, coupons, vouchers, cigarettes, hugs, and kisses. All are freely and legally exchanged for goods and services, which are themselves interchangeable. However, we need a redeemable, solid, real, and objective currency for trade and exchange. For currency to be valid and usable, some preconditions are necessary. First, it must be backed up by a real objective resource. Second, other people must have confidence in it. Last, there must be a demand for its use and a place to exchange it for other currencies so that it works as well for other people as it does locally. Demand means there must be a real need for some item or service lacking in the local society. Any community printing its own currency has these things to do. Here, start to get into what are the things it needs to do. Cecilia, you're the only one. I lost my place. Okay. So demand for the community currency is things it needs to do is find and lease a resource that can be pledged to the exchange institution as a redeemable asset. If it's timber, then currency is based on a cord of timber cut and stacked in the wood yard at such and such a place, or if clean water, a gallon of water bottled and redeemable at a certain place. This is the reserve and gives confidence in the currency. Print the currency itself is one of the demands, preferably in a solid local material difficult to duplicate or forge elsewhere, numbered, dated, and counted. The value so printed should not exceed the value of the reserve by a factor of more than 3 times. Reserve pledges need to be publicly available and assessed. Notes can exceed reserves if used for procreative assets only, say like forests. Forests represent firewood, but reserves are never cut except in dire emergencies. Another demand is to educate local businesses and banks in the use of the currency, which can be exchanged for the national currency at the bank or for other regional currencies. Post exchange rates publicly at the money exchange or bank and issue the currency to banks. Another demand is to start satisfying the demand by lending the currency to builders, say for homes, demand for homes. Start lending the currency to builders. And who can exchange it at the bank for other currency needed in trade or locally for products and services. Producers of local goods accept local currency only. This creates a demand other regions must buy such currency to Most local businesses will accept a regional currency. As we are talking about community money, its uses need to be decided by that community. So, anyway, wherever there is a need, dollars needed are supplied by the exchange, but the borrower or user must repay in local currency, thus creating a demand for it. Most businesses accept the currency, and much of the local trade can be carried on in this currency. When most needs of the region are met, the currency can be collapsed. Many small towns funded their public works this way in the 1930s. The E.F. Schumacher Society of Great Barrington, Massachusetts, has data on these systems, which runs one such currency. I never heard of that, but anyway, that's critical personnel to attach to a revolving loans office are in the following categories: assessor designers, people skilled in good house, factory and farm design, energy budgeting, and appropriate technology. The quote-unquote permaculture team used to help assess proposals to be funded. 2 is accountants, people skilled in setting up appropriate accounting systems. 3 is broker bankers, which are the people actually handling the cash flow. 4 is lawyer trustees. And 5 is real estate or realty. For developed region services such as travel club, credit union, food cooperative, or a group purchase cooperative, farm club, and educational and medical services can also be provided. It must be stressed that the revolving loans office is not a place, but a group in cooperative function. Anyway, so that's kind of the thing about the local currency, and I think it's a good thing. And I haven't been able to intersect with it ever. So I'd like to find a way to actually have some ideas about building up a cooperative, and I couldn't get anybody interested so far. It's been a few years now, but I thought, well, actually, I mentioned security company because that's what I wanted to start. And I thought I saw a niche that I could get into and maybe expand from, but I didn't think I could do it all on my own. So I just felt like instead of having a so-called partner, I wanted several partners maybe, and set up a cooperative where we share equally and all work to build it up, no problem. But that type of thing, we can share equally, and we can all do well if we all work well. And if somebody's slacking off, then too bad, you don't get quite the resources. Things will change. So that's the thing. I wasn't really craving anybody to come here tonight. I just thought that I'd put this up, and rather than just making it a video, which I could, I found out, but I just thought, well, if somebody wants to come by and watch, that's fine too. And I always enable the comments, so someone can always come and comment afterward, watch it in retrospect or whatever you want to call it, and check it out, make a comment, positive, negative, in between, can be educated, imbecilic, wonderful, could be troll, doesn't matter. Comment what you like, and I'm gonna try not to hold anybody's commenting ability back. I think everybody should have a right to comment how they choose, and that type of thing. So that's how I deal with it. And how you doing, Cecilia? Other than that, it must be late there. It must be around midnight. Anyway, I don't know what else I'm going to talk about because that's what I came on to talk about. I've been here for over a half hour. Except for me. Except for me. Two of us here. Anyway, blah, 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 blah. Some people have probably got the notification and thought it was referring to yesterday or tomorrow or who knows. And that's okay. It's quite all right. I'm not so brokenhearted that people don't show up. And I'm not over the top that people do show up. I like it. I appreciate it. But, it's just one of the things. I don't get so caught up in everything. This is not such an ego game as it is trying to build things up, make things better. So anybody that watches and comes by and, plays my stuff, it all helps. It all helps towards the good ends. I have, by the way, looked into going to Hawaii. Mildly. I looked up my hotel that I usually stay at, and they said after October 15th, the corona restrictions change. My beard's all out of whack because I had that mask on. It's all crooked. I'm looking kind of gnomish here. But so that the whole 2-week quarantine doesn't apply after that. So, yahoo! I'm trying to get my house done by then and just kaboom. Take a week, whatever, a few days even, just to get away. We've had this corona thing, spraying things and wearing the mask and all this craziness, and then and distancing and waiting in line to get in the store and all this. And then we had a lot of smoke here in the Bay Area, and just a little bit dragging me down to all the projects I have to do on the house. So sometimes I have to just sit back and not do anything and think, what's my next little tiny thing to do? And just do that. So anyway, moving forward as I can. And like comedy, permaculture isn't always pretty. Just keep going with it. Keep moving forward. Start a food forest today. Doesn't mean you have to plant the whole thing. Start it. Start it with one plant, 2 plants. Well, I have another project coming up is the thing. I want to have it by January 1st where I could rent a room or 2. And that's kind of what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave my toe in where I'm at too. There's some social reasons to not totally leave one for the other. So I'll be kind of hit and miss back and forth a little bit, but yeah, I'll be able to soon be over there and stay over and do more. And yeah, well, my house isn't the worst, but it's just that me doing it and getting there and trying to live here and then go there, and I don't have everything set up where I could do my cooking and everything there yet. So, and then my job just jumps up at random times. I don't know when it's going to be. A lot of times they call me, and it's kind of crazy. So the time I can plan the best is the weekend, because they hardly call me for that now because there's no cruise ship anymore until whenever, next year sometime probably. And that's the thing. I have a lot of things I want to do. I'm going to be honest with you there. But to get it more, say, roadworthy or run-worthy, the next month, by the end of October, for sure. My biggest thing right now is I got to get a guy that I have lined up to actually hang the mural, and then I got to go and, well, I do have to patch some gouges in the floor. It's hardwood floor, but what I'm going to do is go immediately to getting a rug after that, and then I'm getting my technology things. I'll break another computer for in there. I'm going to get my big screen, most likely like an 80-inch or something, big TV that I could use as my screen and play videos and all this, and dang little gnat or something, or fruit fly or something. So That's the thing. It's just kind of delayed waiting on that. And then the rest of it, other parts I can work on, and I have some kind of big projects to work on still there. But a lot of little teeny tiny things, and it's just how it goes, right? Make it last, and just trying to up the usability of the place. So it's not strictly everything that has to be fixed. I want to, some things are an improvement. Okay, so that type of thing. Like I'm going to get probably 30 more half barrels to plant into for my planters. For one thing, I like doing it because it looks cool. Number two, it's a recycled product. And I don't know. Number three is I just do it. All right. So number three is I usually support some small nurseries and stuff that carry them. Right. So that's another aspect. And just, well, I wanted to get 100 inches, but they're $40,000, and I don't want to spend that kind of money. So, because, you know, it's just this mind-blowing, life-changing thing to get a house, I'm making it mine and making it, you know. Well, yeah, I do have the money to do that. That's the thing. But I'm not going to spend it till the right time because I don't want it coming too soon until I'm ready for it. And then, I mean, I'm not spending a lot of money on the channel or on the Permaculture Institute because I think it should be low budget as much as possible to just scrape every bit out of it, out of resource. And if I have to do something to trade or whatever for some resources, that's better than spending a lot of money just because I don't know where it's at. Yeah, I am, but that'll reduce greatly. Well, because there's some social reasons. It's not strictly economics, and so it's going to cut way back, and I'll maintain for a while, and we'll see. But there's some other reasons why. And I'll make it because I've been paying that, and now I don't have that as much of that pretty soon, and it's all going to work out, and things are going to be much better. So, and then I will, I guess, because I'm greedy and want it all, I want to rent a couple rooms. And if that can be established, that I get a couple of rooms rented nicely with the right people, then it's all going to work out. So, you know, I've come to learn that everything's not black and white. There's shades of gray, and I'm deeply in the gray with a lot of my things I do. So I appreciate your thoughts. So always appreciate opinions. I don't always follow them, but it does make me think, sometimes I pull my beard up. About that. So, and I think I might have a mural put in another room also, just because if I can find a nice wave one, it'd be awesome. And just this and that, I have just a ton of things I'm going to do. And where I can trade, I'm going to trade. So if I can trade, you know, whatever, I got something and somebody wants to do part of the fence work that I need done, great. You know, or maybe they'll touch of concrete work I might have done, great. But I'm considering moving my washing machine closer to the clothesline, which is a little farther from the house, but I can't really move the clothesline so effectively. So I'll use it more if I'm close to it. Then I take the stuff out. It's easy to just throw it in the dryer. So I'm thinking that might be a good move, and just things like that. I have some just, you know, subtle changes, and I still have things to get rid of, and just it's an on and on. It might be another year or so to get it all dialed in. Everything closer to the way I want it. But then when I do, I'm going to have meeting space for, like, if I want to do a 1 day or 2 day or whatever, a little short seminar, permaculture seminar, or whatever, rare fruit growers to come over for the meeting. I'm a little bit leery because there's some entities that I don't want everybody to know every bit of what I do. You know, it's I don't want to be like I'm hiding something, but I'll show bits and parts. I will do some before and after, though. I do appreciate that. What am I getting rid of? Like my dad has an old exercise bike. Try to get a couple bucks from that if I can. There's some couches that I get rid of. Also, I'm going to have one redone, so that's going to cost. So if I can offset that by getting a little cash for a couple of the small couches, then I can do that, and that kind of makes it more palatable that I did it, right? And I want to get, when I start getting shelves, I will start getting shelves and things for my media room. I want to get solid items, not press board, you know, like particle board junk. I want to get solid wood or at least plywood made things. So some of that, if I can get it for free, great. Or if I have to have it made, you know, great. But it's just trying to balance the cost of things. Yeah, that's true. And maybe that makes sense too. Showing how I'm doing things. Maybe I'll do one on the ramp in front. I'm going to paint the ramp because, long story short, my parents were having mobility issues. So they put in a wooden ramp. And anyhow, just so it looks better, I'm going to paint it to match the front door. And that'll be something I can maybe put a video up on that. And it's going to be extremely better looking with it painted than just the wood. And yeah, maybe. I want to try to keep building my subs for sure. My goal is to have 500 by the end of the year. But, you know, I gain and then people slack back. I gain and then people, I don't know, they don't like some comment I made, whatever. Okay, they fall off, you know, whatever. That's like that. And so I'm not totally hounding on the subs, but it'd be nice to get some more, you know, of course. You know, monetization isn't everything, but it is something, right? So it would be nice to get a couple $100 a month coming in if I'm doing this anyway. You know, then I could put that towards some projects at the Institute. And that's what it is. You know? Just, and if I could rent a couple rooms, I can build up my life to where I can live better and still do some good things. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I am a little low on that. That's the problem, but I can only do so much, and it's a timing and just a kind of a craziness thing right now. So that's why I went over the designer's manual, because I thought, well, what do you do? I'm going to put something up. I'm trying to do like 55 days in a row of video, and I didn't make any today. I ran around, did errands, so. I can just progress as I can, and I'm trying not to get overloaded because I know that I'm the only one at the Institute. So I am the Pacific Permaculture Institute at this point. So whatever I can't do isn't going to get done. So I don't want to get overwhelmed and just, you know, it all crashes down. Yeah, I will be soon putting more time in over there, staying more and all this. And it'll become at least a 50-50 or 60-40 or I don't know the percentage, but I'll be over there more. And The more I'm there, the more I can do, the more I can do video, the more I realize today, though, the editing program I like and that I have here, I like, is that it's on this computer. So I couldn't go over there and edit with this program because I don't have it on the other computer. So that's like, oh no. And anyway, it's a time and place thing, and I'm starting to realize that nature works in a subtle fashion, and I kind of should too. There's some little things. I did that redwood park thing. I might do another one, like going to the beach or something, and just things that I do, but kind of connected, but so maybe in a subtle way. And then I'm going to have a cutting garden I'm going to plant. Okay, so for cutting, for example, like I'm probably not going to make a bouquet, okay, but say when I go to pay my respects somewhere, okay, then I can just break them or cut them or what have you, and bring them. And maybe I should start a collection of small, not necessarily glass, but small containers that people are tossing. If people are tossing the little plastic ones, because glass will get run over at the cemetery and broken and make a mess. So that's one of my things. I'm going to have a cutting garden. I mean, I want it to look good too, but it's going to be kind of for cutting, so I can bring and pay the respects sometimes to the relatives. Hi, Looney. Thanks for coming by. How you doing? Yeah, but you're in Kauai. What's that? What's winter mean to you? A little bit more rain, right? You're in the islands, bro. Right? No problem, brah. I get it. I wish I was there. I wish I had a way to make it over there in the islands. I could just exist and do permaculture stuff and just have a good old time. I wish I could. I don't have that ability right now. I mean, I don't want to minimize it. I know it's a struggle sometimes, especially Kauai gets really rainy. It's just like, oh, I wish I had those problems. Hi all, bye all. Well, thanks for popping in, Homestead Oz. Yeah, down to high 50s is still warmer than here. I remember I stayed on the Big Island, and at night it would get down to about 50. I'd put one sweatshirt on. And for me, that's not much, right? So, is your mom on the island too? On island? Are you next to her or close? Or it's a good thing to do, bro. Take care of mom. Sometimes me and my parents would get kind of stage a few times where it was just difficult. But it's almost like we're antagonizing each other. They had things they didn't agree with what I do, which is, I just mean gardening, regular things. But and anyway, it was kind of abrasive sometimes being there, and just it wasn't all soothing. But I wish they were around still. Miss them. Yeah, last 38 to 40 here. Wow, that's in Canada, right? Ooh, that's chilly. That's chilly. That one sweatshirt wouldn't quite make it for me at 38. Plus, the thing of the one sweatshirt was it was warm during the day, right? So I could handle it. I hear you. Rather be concerned about the weather than whether or not I'm going to eat. And that's the money thing. Oh, yeah. Cool. Greenhouse to plant. Maybe you can get some woofers over there, Cecilia. Tie into Woof USA. just to shut down. Yeah, that's brutal. Them cold. But you know, there's a YouTube video, and I don't know the gentleman's name, talking about raising citrus in, I think it was Nebraska. And this guy does it in a greenhouse, and I don't think he heats it other than ground heat. In other words, he digs a tube down a few feet in the ground where it's standard temp. I think it's like 58, a few feet down consistently all year long. And then I think he pumps that air back through there. Good. So mom's happy with what you do. You're happy with what you do. That's a good thing, Lynn. So, yeah, I'm thinking of maybe a kind of a greenhouse, but I don't know. I was thinking the tropical was hotter, but then I find out that I think it's like Dan Permaculture is 9B, and I saw on a website that I'm at 9B. So I don't know, something I don't understand. Maybe I just need to contain the heat for the winter. Yeah. And this guy is raising citrus. The other thing is I think he digs down a couple feet for his base so that it's already a little bit buffering. He's in like serious cold. Another one is 1 Yard Revolution. He has plastic sheeting, greenhouse plastic, and he has an air gap of, I think it's like 4 inches. So then he has 2 sheets. And he's in Chicago, and he raises, salad greens and things in the winter. Okay, so if he could do it in Chicago and this guy could do it in Nebraska, you could probably do something in Canada to raise it up. And one of the things he does too is he has black buckets in there with water. Okay, so then heat comes beaming in through the greenhouse. This is the sun, my hand, right? Beaming in the heat into those black buckets, heat them up. Well, at night, as the sun heat just gets turned off, right? Well, then the heat radiates back out of these buckets to keep it warmer. In the daytime, he has it 80 degrees in that greenhouse, and he's not heating it with anything. Yeah, that works too, Looney. That works if you can get that going. I'm thinking to build some coils and then put them in my compost bits. Of course, then I'll have to dig them out all the time too. So that's the unsure part. I'm wondering if I should do some loops like this, like big U's loops, and do that. Because I've seen somewhere where they heat for hot water shower from compost. But then at some point it kind of collapses, so you got to continue that on, right? So you have to have another one set up just to keep it going. And yeah, on the Big Island, you shouldn't have a big problem anyway. It gets hot during the day. Capture that heat in barrels with water, and that heat just emanate back out, radiate back out at night as it cools down, and keep that temperature up if you need it up, right? So there's a lot of strategies, and I'm going to try to employ some of them and make my life better, grow better things, more things. Oh, okay. So did you guys go to Kauai before you're born or after, or how'd that work? That's what I like about the YouTube and everything. It's becoming a community, and we're collaborating. We're all sharing ideas that we've come across and used, and I like this. I'm going to try to check out some more of your stuff, Looney. I think you have really short videos, am I right? I've seen some of your stuff for sure. I don't always comment because I don't know what to comment, but yeah, but I didn't want to do the thing of like having to turn it. So I thought, well, if I dig a pit, That's why I'm doing the pit composting, because I throw it in. The turning is throwing the dirt back in, throwing the food scraps in, throwing whatever in, right? And I can't do that. I don't know. There's a lot of things that, to say, I have ideas and I'm kind of buzzing around with it, but I honestly, I can't do everything all at once. So I'm just plodding along. And they said the turtle wins the race. So that's the thing. In 5 years, this channel is going to be huge, and the Pacific Permaculture Institute will be up and running. And I'm sure there'll be organic farms and etc. inviting me over that had never even heard of me right now to do a video, collaborate, all this kind of thing, get ideas that I have, and I'll be inviting them over. Hey, you want to stay and come to a seminar and then give me a place to stay for a week, whatever, I'll be doing things to make this all happen better. And it's all going to come together. Yeah, true. But like I say, I'm practicing being the tortoise here, not the hare. Oh. How great is that? Raised in Kauai since you're like 7? So then she couldn't resist. The island bug bit her, huh? They talk about the surfing bug. And I think the movie Step Into Liquid talking about surfing in 2004 or something, 2003 maybe. And the old Hawaiian local guy says, once you get bitten by the surfing bug, you can't get unbit. Once you get the sand in between your toes, you'll never be the same. Something to that effect. And it's right. And not only that, but the island bug. The island bug bit me, brother. I can never get unbitten. Some of that aloha washes away as I'm more in the rest of this side of the mainland society, or at least I have to contain it. The surface of it washes away, but in my heart, the aloha and the island bug bite are in there. It's just wonderful to go to the islands. I can't go as often as I'd like. Okay. Also, I'm gonna at some point I want to do humanure. I'm trying to cogitate on that, how I'm gonna do it, where I'm gonna have it set up. Because yeah, you are fortunate. You grew up on the islands. I'm sure even as a lighter person, it's a little bit more difficult, but still. Oh, yeah. It's just something. The islands are just something. I mean, man, I've been bitten. I really been bitten by the island bug. And part of why I changed this to Pacific Permaculture was because I thought, well, I can go to Hawaii and make videos too. It said just because originally it was West Coast Permaculture. And then I got this idea, I can maybe travel around the Pacific and make videos, and especially permaculture videos. And even if it's not quite, sometimes I can tie it in. And that's why. Yeah, them sugarcane workers were tough. An ex of mine, her dad was a plantation worker way back when, and he retired in like 1970 or something. And he has since gone on to the great plantation in the sky, I guess. And very tough guy. You could tell when he's like 90, he was a tough. You probably wouldn't want to mess with him when he's in his 20s. But Yeah, yeah, you are very fortunate. Make it happen. Don't have to leave those islands. Do what you can to avoid ever having to leave. It just, it was, it was kind of sad when I went because I was intended to stay a long time and I leaving home kind of thing. But it was even sadder when I left there to come back to the mainland. It just, those who haven't been for more than a day or two, I don't know if they quite get it. There's just something there. It's it's spiritual. It's just something, and I could just talk about that all night. Like, oh, Hawaii, 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 Hawaii. Yeah, I know. I would have had an opportunity if I'd have stayed in '03 or '04. The guy I was helping at a farm, and he was wanted to put some kind of a shed or shack where someone could stay some of the time and kind of manage the volunteers and that kind of thing. And I didn't, and I don't know what he done, but I figured if I could have learned to hunt big and do that, and maybe do some paid work, I would have probably done all right. But you do need some money to. I guess at this point, if I wanted to bad enough, I could rent out my house and stay on somebody's farm over there. I guess that's the thing. Maybe I just don't want to bad enough this moment, but it just Hawaii keeps calling me. Those islands call me. When I first set foot, something about them. I wasn't there long, and it felt like home. You know, oh man. And now that my folks are gone, I'm not as I am tied to this place, but it's just different. It's not the same. Well, I know some things. I don't want to get over my head with puffing out my chest about things, but I do know some things, and some other things I don't know, right? But it's all look upable. Yeah, so I don't know a lot about Pakalolo, and I want to learn about that because that's a new up and coming legal thing, and I'm thinking of taking some classes about that. There's a place here called Oaksterdam, and because of economic opportunities, the more opportunities I cultivate, especially if it's growing something, I like growing things. It could just be some flower nobody liked. I like growing things. Yeah. All the farms coming up. What do you mean by that? Do you mean they're coming up for sale? I'd love to be able to own. I'm always thinking if I hit the lottery, buy 100 acres on one of the islands, just start a big old organic farm. Ultimately, if I had enough money, I'd like to do a thing where some regenerative organic system set up, and ultimately where it would revert back to the native Hawaiians at some point, so they could have this cool thing going and just all set up and have just a ton of food growing the best ways possible, and maybe make money and all this, right? Hi, Plum. How you doing? Plants that I cut down. What? Oh, I didn't save seeds, but I'm kind of thinking it will regenerate because lantana's pretty resilient. And yeah, I do buy tickets. I do buy tickets to the lottery. But look, I mean, $20 million, it's all over. I mean, not all over. It's all different. It's all changed, improved. I mean, I don't know that I have the most experience, but I am willing to work. That's the thing. I do know that Wolf Hawaii went in with Wolf USA, so, and I was associated with them. I have to re-up my subscription again with them. I really need to manage my time and things better. It's just, I don't play big, but I do a couple bucks a week on average, and that's it. I don't go crazy with it. $100 a year isn't going to break me, but it could make me if I hit the right thing. Oh, I won't forget, my friends, when I built this big old permaculture farm on the Big Island, or on one of the islands, there'll be room for people to come and stay and help a little bit and give ideas and eat and, have a good time. Bring in some uke players and some local talent, local bands. That'd be awesome. I mean, not just to have it, just to make food, to have just the most awesome, vibrant, and just, yeah, it kind of is. Lottery kind of is a tax for the poor people, but it's a willing tax, right? We're willing to exchange that. But yeah, I mean, I'd like to be able to have a place where I could have some concerts, some local groups come in, and just have it going. And maybe what I could do is have a bunch of paid tickets, but then like every paid ticket equals what it's worth for two. So then one local person gets one. Wouldn't that be cool? Say like 50 paid tickets and 50 free. So 50 local people get to go to this cool concert on my farm. Wouldn't that be awesome? I mean, and plus we got to get back. The Hawaiian Islands were stolen from the Hawaiian people originally, right? So we got to do some things to help the local people. People on the islands are suffering. Hey, 1.2 mil is better than a poke in the eye with a sharp stick, what I was always told. Well, I can put you on the Skype or Zoom or live stream, Cecilia, and you could get there that way. And just because you got a busted up arm, how come you can't get on a plane anyhow? Yeah, that's the paradox when you can afford it. I was telling Looney's on Kauai. I said, if I had the money, I'll be there so quick. Yeah, Malama Aina. I would love to have that opportunity to do some great things and coordinate a lot of things, right? Help some local artists, as far as like painting and stuff and those kinds of arts, but also the artists that are the musicians and that tie a bunch of good things into it, and yet maybe make money too, and try to make some money out of the thing too, but then just keep it carrying on and help somebody else build the same thing, and just with the right person. If the right person walked over there with millions into the island chain, started properly, within probably 20 years, the people on the islands would be thriving. You can build up the economy. You don't have to just exploit everything. Right on, Looney. That's the way to be. But I know that like Zuckerberg, went over there and he fenced off people from their traditional lands and all this. That's not the way to be. He's making his own little kingdom, and better to use that and have a big old place and start incorporating the local people to help them out, and just Wow. Hey, you're really doing it up. 1,600 wild coffee plants. That's great. Uh, but the more money, the quicker you can get things rolling, right? So that's what I always say. 20 million, I could just, I could make a dent in the poverty at least over there. And it just, I don't do Facebook because I always say I don't want to get Zuckerbergled. Okay. And there's a lot of bad that comes from people that get too much money too quick and too young. They just don't understand. And don't go to a place you have probably never been or very mildly been and try to buy up the whole dang place. Maybe go in and learn how people are. Maybe meet a few neighbors before you buy the 100-acre patch or whatever it is next door. No, nice. Nice plump. But if I get rich, look out, because I'm going to make positive change. And even when I go, it's like I was staying at a place on the Big Island, and it's like apartments, the hotel room, right? So I go to Target, and it's a big chain, whatever. But I go down there and I buy some bowls and stuff so I can set up my system so I can make a bunch of food, so that way I can moderate my time better, right? So if I want to drive over to Waimea, wherever, if I want to drive up to Kona, I got some food made. When I come back, I have something I can eat when I'm back, right? So anyway, long story short, I left that stuff. I'm like, hey, I hope somebody can use it. And the guy that works at the hotel said, hey, don't worry. Hardly any of this stuff gets actually thrown. He says people will use this. This is a good resource. It's a resource that people leave behind, and it gets appreciated here. So I was grateful for that. So more and more, I'm going to try to do that. I don't bring my bowl from home. I go buy some there. It's still, even the big chain, box chain there supports the economy a little bit. And then when I leave my hotel room, I leave these bowls. I clean them, of course, and everything, but bowls and whatever. All that kind of stuff. I'm not trying to drag it back with me in my luggage, right? So leave things there, and then somebody else can use it. It makes their economy a little bit better. And I do try to leave a tip too, even though I pay the thing. Just try to instigate it to move forward just a little bit that I can. And maybe, I have this channel, maybe I can inspire 100 or 200 or 500 people to do the same thing. What if 500 people that visited the Hawaiian Islands did that every time? How much better could everybody there be able to live, and we're taking something by being there. We're polluting this and that. Even we don't intend to, but humans do. We mess things up. So try to make up for some of the mess up. Only 11 here in Edmonton. I don't know where Edmonton must be, like the middle, huh? I think that's like mountain time or something for us. But I'm not really sure because I don't know. I just know California time, kind of. Because right here it's night. It's almost 10 p.m. So, oh no, you're like Nevada time. You're above Nevada or something, huh? Or is that maybe like Idaho, or because Nevada doesn't go all the way up to the border. But, yeah. So I was talking about more of the economics, and then I was reading out of the designer's manual about cooperatives and this type of thing, and I'd like to go there too. Almost 7 p.m. there in Kapa'a. Yeah. Almost 7 p.m. and beautiful weather, I'm sure. Oh, North Idaho. Okay, that gives me an idea. Even the states, I don't know where all the states are. It just didn't interest me that much, you know? Farm life, rise before rooster. Yeah. Sometimes I'd start work, and I'll be there at like 4 a.m. or something. And, hey, somebody had to wake up the rooster to wake up everybody else. I think at 10 p.m. I'll cut this off, so 3 more minutes. I've kind of extended. I was only going to do like a 15 or 20-minute show, and I'm going to go live on on Sunday anyway, Sunday afternoon. So I'll cut it short soon. Yeah. Yeah, that's hilarious. Board shorts on at 7 p.m. Oh, nice. Good for you, Plum. One thing I found out about YouTube is that it can be more of a community, which I just thought was the thing. You posted a video and maybe somehow or other you luckily got a bunch of subscribers and you could do good maybe, or maybe you didn't. But meanwhile, along the path, I found out that there's people that I regard more as friends now on YouTube, but it's kind of a community, and I like that. So there's things to learn here for sure. It's not always what you go looking to learn. And yeah. But yeah, any way we can instigate better community economics, try to support the little stores also, in your wherever you are. Even if it's made, the things are made in China, at least if you're supporting the local guy versus the big box, it's still better off. So that type of thing. Try to recycle the money into the community more. Try to use a thrift shop if you can. There's been some picture frames at the thrift store today. It's just that I would have had to paint them because they weren't the color and stuff I wanted. But anyway, trying to do that. And also, they have some made in the U.S., amazingly enough. Everything's not made in China. You just have to look hard for it. And although, knock wood, I have to admit, an American-made car, but it is serviced by somebody in this country, so that's the thing. We just try to slow the flow a little bit and try to support our local areas where we can. And on Hawaii, they have the different breads and stuff. Like, what's that? Pulu'u Bakery on the Big Island. There's all the sweet breads. I can't eat anymore because I can't eat wheat, but things like that. They have like Big Island Delights is a cookie company, and I think there's Kauai Cookie Company. It's probably owned by some big boys, but anyway, it's yeah. YouTube's been an interesting journey, and here's the thing. I can help somebody else out without it costing me anything by watching their videos too. So I look at it like that now too. I figure, well, I might be putting 25 cents or 50 cents in their pocket, and maybe I learned something and they appreciate me watching it. So that's the thing. And anyway, I'm probably bored and everybody to tears. I haven't invited anybody on the panel because I was going to make only like a 15-minute one tonight. And yeah, you know what? There's a place that, I don't know if you've been to the Big Island much, Looney, but if you go to Waimea, there's a place called Village Burger. I think that's a small chain. But they have Wagyu beef burgers. And with a gluten-free bun, I think it was like $18. Oh, out of this world, bro. Out of this world. Broke the mouth. Yeah, broke the mouth, right? I mean, you will never get a better burger, probably ever, anywhere than that beef burger. Yeah. You know what I'm starting to look at it at Plum Bob is like this is just a gathering. It just is virtual. You know, it's like having a party. It's just that it's online. We're not all at somebody's house. So for those of you that don't know, broke the mouth is like excellent. And it may saying something tastes excellent. But yeah, broke the mouth. Or like broke the mouth. Yeah. I don't always say the H. But yeah, it's just this is just a gathering of people. These lives and everything. And you know, I don't get all sensitive if you use this word or that word or type something in the comments. I'm not that worried about it. I'm not near getting money out of this. Someday I will, and I'll put it towards good things. But if I don't, too bad. I'll still do this because I'm still inspiring people and connecting with people and doing good things here. So, but no, if you go to the Big Island Bra, Waimea, Village Burger. You know, I don't know now, come to think of it, after Corona hit, but they had also some taro burgers that were excellent. Oh, a friend of mine went, and I said, well, you know that's a taro burger. No, I didn't know. She thought it was a beef burger, for crying out loud. It was so good. But yeah, that's, you know what, I'm like that too, Plum Bob. I'm subscribed to people that I never thought I'd be subscribed to. Some of them are just friendly, genuine people, and well, I go talk to them for a while. It doesn't have to be my favorite subject to talk about it. I have that, you know, my mouth isn't that selective. So that's a thing, and yeah, we're just making things better by you know, being around like-minded people. That sometimes the like-mindedness isn't the hobby or whatever. It's just that we want to get together with somebody and talk. Okay? Talk story, as Looney would know. Anyway, it looks like I'm down to one person. I don't know who that is, but with that, I think I'll call it a night. Thanks everybody for coming by. If you feel like it, come by later and play my video again and comment and thumb up or down or any of that. Share it if you like. And Mark, how's it going? I was just about ready to sign off. How you doing tonight? Arkansas woodcutter in the house. Funny, I haven't seen you cut one piece of wood since, but that's all right. I'm just kind of heckling. That's sort of looking at you. Yeah, there you go. But yeah, I'm going to sign off, and I'll probably be back Sunday afternoon. And you guys all have a good one. It's been nice. Thanks for coming by. If somebody wants to replay this, and feel free, or share it, or any of that good stuff. And give me a thumb up or down or all around or whatever you want. Thanks again, all. Good night.